Hello, hello, hello. This is the BCJ cast without the what I should say, the Bard Circle jerk, but without the jerk. There's a reason for that. Today we're proud since this is gonna be releasing before Super Bowl Sunday. We thought it would be, and also sports season's coming back in town. We would like to talk about sports, and since Jay doesn't really care for sports, I think it'd just be more better if it just, had, me and Brad would be able to talk about it.
Yeah,
So,
we're the only ones. We're the only ones in the group who actually give a shit about about sports.
yeah, yeah, no, it's funny because I I think one day like Jay did say like his favorite sport is curling. But yeah, no, like legitimately, me and you are the only ones in our entire group that we play D&D with that cares about sports.
Yeah,
And
Jordan would give me shit about Jordan would give me shit about the like following the Bills scores on my phone while we were playing D&D. He would go like, "Oh, what's up with the in the world of sports ball?" But yeah, no. So we're the only ones doing it today. Otherwise,
yeah,
it'd be lots of dead air from our third mic.
instead of me this time.
Yeah, yeah. He would he would be the one not talking.
Yeah, so we're gonna probably talk about kind of the NFL season as a whole, like how my favorite team, the Steelers, and how they fucking just shit the bed, and then Brad's team, the Bills.
Yes.
And we're also going to talk about the two Super Bowl teams that are playing in the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Chiefs, my arch enemy this year. This is it was one of those the Bills lost to them in the AFC Championship game, and boy was I looking forward to that game. I was really hoping that the Bills would be able to knock them off because they played them so well. They played them so well week 5 that I was just or sorry week 6. I think it was week 6. Uh, that I was excited for the game, and man was it a disappointment. The outcome, they just got outplayed completely.
Um, I think one of the reasons why is because probably they were probably like like if I had to make like a comparison for it, the Chiefs were probably basically like in LeBron James mode during the regular season, where at some points they just don't give a fuck. They know that they're gonna make it to the playoffs, so they're just like, we'll just save our energy for later.
Well, I mean that's the thing too with the Chiefs. It's like they're a good enough team that they can cruise through games and then just like turn it on. They can just flip a switch and drop like 50 points. And so it's one of those things, they can score so easily. That offense is just so ridiculously good that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many points you put up against them. They can just, they can double you up in an instant. So throughout the regular season, they were winning games by like 3 points, and the offense wouldn't look that good, and then they would just flip the switch and they would win it. They would win on in a fourth quarter drive, or their defense would hold just enough that they would win by 3. And so, down the stretch, I'm watching the Bills blow opponents out like, 56-26 or something like that. And just, it's one of those things like, oh man, the Bills offense is so good and the Chiefs haven't looked that great. And then you get to the AFC Championship game and the Chiefs flip the switch and drop, 40, what was it, 44 points, something like that. On It's
I
like,
can check.
man, I mean that was legitimately that was one of the worst blowout losses that the Bills have suffered since Josh Allen's first game, and they were playing the Philip Rivers Chargers, and you know ended up losing like 40-20 or something like that.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was 38 to 24. To be fair, I mean, Philip Rivers has announced his retirement, and I think he kind of needs it, bro. He like has like fucking 8 kids, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
But
I have the, oh my gosh, talk about the funniest videos of all time. Do you watch any of the NFL mic'd up videos?
no, but I know Philip Rivers is a is kind of a character.
It's the funniest thing. He's the biggest trash talker in the league, but I guess he's like a super hardcore Christian, so he like refuses to swear. So it's the
Yeah.
funniest thing when he's mic'd up because he'll get like hit or something like that, and throw a touchdown or something like that. He'll get up, get in the defensive lineman's face, and just go, you know, dang gummit, we we are, we're beating your butt or something like that. Like it's the funniest thing. He'll
Oh yeah.
like the ref's face and go, you know, gosh darn it, like you gotta call that ref. Are you freaking blind?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
but no, I strongly recommend any listener and Corey, if you get a chance to look up the mic'd up videos of Philip Rivers. They're the funniest things of all time. Because I mean,
Yeah.
he just won't stop jawing.
Yeah, no, I love trash talkers. Trash talk is amazing, and it's sad to see that we're not allowed to do that anymore because people can just be like, oh no, that's hate speech. But like anyway, like so growing up, I lived in the Tampa Bay area, right? And basically for most of my life I was just a Tampa Bay fanboy, and I you know but now more recently I started getting into the Pirates and Steelers, and I did not think the Buccaneers were probably going to go to the Super Bowl this year because I thought Brady was gonna just be like Ben and just be washed up. And it's like, no, he just seems like he aged like 10 years back for some reason in the playoffs. Like the man's just on fire.
Well, I mean, he does have like three number one receivers. Like
Yeah,
they have probably the best receiving core in the
but
league.
isn't it Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and what, OJ Howard? Or
Um, it's Mike Evans, I know, is one of them.
hmm
Yes, they've Antonio Brown. He's got LaShawn McCoy, who's one of the better receiving running backs in the league. Leonard Fournette. Um,
did he have a bounce back season this year?
I don't know. They haven't really been running it, but
Yeah,
it's one of those things. And there are two other people. Good is it Goodwin?
yeah, Chris Goodwin.
Chris Goodwin is one of them. I mean, they've just got like a ridiculous receiving core. But yeah, it's one of those things. It was like everyone wanted to find out at the beginning of the season whether or not it was Brady or Belichick that was the key to the Patriots' success. And I think it's pretty clear this season that it's been that it was
He's
all
just a
Brady.
Yeah, he's just a system quarterback. He's just a system quarterback. It's like, no, I mean, it's so sad to see that I wasn't really rooting for the Patriots this year, but I wanted Cam Newton to also have a bounce back season, and I think he's just done. He can't.
That's one of those things is like I did want to see him succeed. I didn't want the Patriots to, but I did want him just
Yeah,
because like uh, it was so he shouldn't have gone that long without getting signed. Like he should have never fallen to the Patriots. You know,
yeah,
I mean, I get it, like sort of injury prone, but he was the former MVP. You know,
yeah. No.
like he deserved more than he got this season. And
Oh
I
yeah, no, yeah, no doubt. It's sad to see, but I think after this season, I don't think he's really gonna get any more offers. Um, uh, it'll be interesting to see what the Evil Empire does later on this decade, to see what Belichick does, what he has to do. Um, one of the best comedic stories throughout this NFL season is just how fucking the butt chin Bill O'Brien just destroyed the Houston Texans.
Oh my god. Well, you know what? It's one of those things. It's funny because they fired him, and I mean, granted, he traded away DeAndre Hopkins, and he. I was watching a video. I think it was Brett Mitchell about how Bill O'Brien ruined, like, absolutely destroyed the offensive line by signing Laramie Tunsil instead
Oh,
of one of the guys that they drafted. Um,
well, one of the reasons why was because they traded for Laramie Tunsil, and they had to pay him, right? Laramie Tunsil had all the leverage in the world after they traded him to sign him. So he's a good O lineman, but he's getting paid quarterback money.
well, I think he's the highest paid O lineman in the league,
Oh yeah,
and he
yeah.
doesn't perform like it.
No, he does not. Like he's good, but he's not the best, and he's getting paid like he is the best, and that's because if the Tex if because of all the leverage that he had, because he knew it, the Texans had to sign him because of the trade for him,
Well,
and
didn't they trade like two first round picks
yeah,
and a
yeah.
handful of others to the Dolphins, which is
Mhm.
hilarious because now I think the Dolphins this year are going to get like a top 5 pick despite
Yeah,
narrowly missing the playoffs, which sucks for me as a Bills fan considering they're in the same division.
yeah. No, it's great how the just Bill O'Brien just destroyed the Texans. Trading Nuke Hopkins, and he was trying to like everybody was just like, why is he doing that? Nobody knew why. And like the thing that they were like talking about, well, maybe it's like basically just to free up cap space and stuff like that. And it's just like, but he didn't even really do that. He didn't like if he at least got a first round pick, it could be somewhat forgivable, right? Even though you're trading the best wide receiver in the league, it could be somewhat forgivable. He got David Johnson and then a second round pick. That's all he got. And it's just like, so you got an overpaid older running back and you didn't even get a first? What the fuck are you doing?
It's
What are you doing?
I think it's going to go down in history as one of the dumbest trades of all time. And again, Bill O'Brien can't stop fricking over the Bills because the Bills lose on the Hail Murray. If DeAndre Hopkins isn't in Arizona, the Bills finished the season 14-2
Yeah.
and might have gotten might have gotten the AFC Championship at home.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It's uh uh
Bill
uh
O'Brien has done more to hurt the Bills than any of their rivals this season.
yeah, no, it's great. It's great to see. This
But
this this very promising franchise that's coming up, and then just for just a person's ego to just get majorly in the way like that is fantastic to see.
well, I
Because
mean, that's the thing. It's like you look at it, and they've literally got. I think he was a top 5 quarterback this year. Deshaun Watson was.
yeah,
If he
no,
wasn't, he was definitely top 10, and he's easily one of the most talented in the league.
oh yeah, no,
Regardless of age.
yeah, no doubt. Like he is one of the best younger quarterbacks coming up, right? He's probably going like if he had, you know, if Bill O'Brien didn't do anything to the team from last year except maybe spruce up the O line, but don't trade for Larmy Tunsil, he could have been in talks of the MVP. But because literally, legitimately, he and JJ Watt are literally the only saving like things of the like he and JJ Watt are the only reason to watch a Texans game right now because who are you gonna watch on the wide receiver core? What, Brandon Cooks?
Yeah, no, it's so sad. And the other thing too, it's like as a Texans fan, now you can't even go like, oh, next season will be a little bit better. No, because he wants out. Deshaun Watson wants out. And it's one of those things. It's like, okay, you fire Bill O'Brien. That should be the only thing you have to do to salvage that franchise. Just get a decent general manager who can start rebuilding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the organization promises Deshaun Watson, we're going to give you a say in the matter, right? And then
And they
immediately hire someone he didn't want there. So what does he do? He asks for a trade. It's like, guys, the one saving grace on this team, you just you escorted out the door by just fucking him over.
Yeah, no, it's really it's so sad to see that finally like another franchise to come up off the ground and like have some success in the NFL except for the main people like the Steelers or
The
for
Patriots,
the Patriots. What else? The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be there nowadays. Maybe even if Lamar Jackson gets it together, the Baltimore Ravens, right? It's so refreshing to see a new face, and then just like have all the eggs in their basket, and then just one bad yolk infects all the others. It's just so depressing. Houston Texans fans must be so depressed.
well, and I mean that's the thing. It's like literally last season they knocked the Bills out of the playoffs, and it was on the back of pretty much only Deshaun Watson. I mean, it was one of those games where it's just like, man, I sat back after the Bills lost that game, and I was like, I am legitimately scared of the Houston Texans. Like in the future, get him some more weapons, spruce up the defense. That's a scary team.
Yeah,
And
no,
then literally the next year, they completely shit the bed.
yeah, no, it's like it could have been like the new rivalry, a new rivalry between the Chiefs and then the Texans, but uh, I mean, I guess the Chiefs are gonna be standing alone for now.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's like, you know, uh, talk about a complete dichotomy. It's like, okay, the Texans win the game against the Bills, immediately trade away their number one receiver and do nothing but mess up the entire offseason, come out shit the bed in the regular season. The losers of last year's wild card game, the Bills, go out, trade for a number one receiver in the NFL this year, by the way. Uh, you know, suck on that, DeAndre
Stephon
Hopkins.
Diggs was
Stephon
nice,
Diggs, yeah, he led the NFL in receptions and yards.
nice, nice.
And then the Bills, the rest of the offseason wasn't too bad. I'd argue their defense got much weaker, letting Shaq Lawson walk and Jordan Phillips walk. But it is what it is.
One of the best
Unfortunately,
things one of the best things that happened to the Bills was Josh Allen really progressed the last offseason.
well, I mean, it's one of those things. Like watching him in 2018, you could see it. Like you could see like the flashes, right?
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
hurdles Anthony Barr, right? He smacks Jalen Ramsey and the Jaguars in the mouth. And he did it all his number one receiver that year. Do you know who it was? Do you know who's
I
number one receiver?
I have no idea.
Kelvin Benjamin,
I
a guy
I
who immediately got bounced from the NFL after that year. I mean,
yeah.
if you go on YouTube, I think there's like a 6 minute video. It's like a 6 minute video of all of the drops that Josh Allen's receivers had that year. It was just that year, and it's like it's a 6 minute video, and someone in the comments did the math. I don't have the video like up right now, but like someone did the math. Had his receivers caught all of those balls that they dropped, and some of them are awful drops.
Mm-hmm.
He would have had something like a 62% completion rating as opposed to the 52 that he had that season. It's like it's ridiculous. Uh, I'm fairly active on Bill's Twitter. I don't post, but I creep. And someone put up a graphic of all of the players. I think it was something like ridiculous. It was like 22 players caught a pass from Josh Allen that year. Um, Two of them are still in the NFL.
Oof. Oof.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's like his number one receiver is Kelvin Benjamin. The only other receiver that's still on the team from 2018 is Isaiah McKenzie, who routinely is basically on the team to do the jet sweeps. You
Mm.
know, and granted, he's progressed a whole hell of a lot as a receiver, but he's one of those. He's like the fifth one on the depth chart because in front of Isaiah McKenzie is Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, John Brown, and Gabe Davis. You know, and it's just one of those things. Like I'm a massive Bills fan. I legitimately can't remember who our tight end even was in 2018.
I can tell, yeah, that you are a massive Bills fan.
Yeah, which is tough living in Western PA, being a Bills fan because you only get to watch the primetime games. I have to wait. I have to wait like 4 hours after every game to catch the replay.
Yeah, no, yeah, no. I the, let's talk about one of the most interesting stories this year. The story of how the 11-0 Steelers just completely just shit the bed after going 11-0 through the rest of their games.
It was one of those things. They were probably the single most fraudulent team that
I remember
ever
I remember
started 11-0.
I remember me and you were talking about this in Discord. We were talking about this and like I'm like, yeah, I mean it's interesting, but I know they're not gonna go anywhere in the playoffs. And you agreed with me. Like we both said that they're probably not gonna go anywhere because Ben looked so suspect throughout the season, and then I think one of the most shining moments of the team this season was only Chase Claypool, but his ego got so high by the end of the season that I think he was kind of a non-factor. And then we had um, JJ Smith Schuster just dancing on other people's logos. It's like you got you, um it's like these guys need to like pick it up a bit more because it was really fraudulent because for some reason they would still get back into games that they should have lost, and it's just like they look so fraudulent, but how do they keep on winning? They almost lost to like the Ravens like third string, and then it's just so fucking mind-boggling how they went 11-0 but felt like a sub 500 team. You can see throughout the entire season that Ben's arm was literally dying throughout the entire season. It's 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 just it was so nice to see, though. It was legitimately nice to see them just get their shit kicked in by the Browns fir- in the first quarter. They just were like, "Yeah, we're just gonna go 28 28-0 real quick.
It was a rough game to watch. It was one of those things. Like I I was being in the area and being surrounded by Steelers fans, watching them
Yinzers.
go 11-0 and like people get their hopes up was so tough because it was like the thing about Steelers fans, uh they are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly hopeful every year. Every year
Oh yeah.
it's our year. Every year it's our year. Not we're winning the Super Bowl, baby.
That honestly, that could just be said about Pittsburgh teams, except for the Pirates, because everybody knows that the Pirates are going to be shit.
Well, the thing that sort of pisses me off about like Pittsburgh sports fans, and this might be, a tad controversial, but um they're like they only care if the team's winning. Like if you look at like attendance for the Penguins pre Sidney Crosby, they were literally about to leave the city because no
Yeah,
one would go to the games.
yeah, no, yeah, yeah, like it's the better sample size is literally the attendance records from when the Pirates were successful in getting to the playoffs each year to literally the next year, right? The Garrett Cole and McCutcheon era versus, the era that we're in now, right? Because I started going to Pirates games, I believe back in like 2015, right? Or like 2016, the year that they still had it, and continuously going to the games because that's kind of like the only reason why I like watch baseball sometimes is I like the atmosphere. I love getting like Quaker steak and lube wings at games, and just like I remember the best play I've ever watched at like in the field was a pitcher threw a wild pitch, and the bases were full, and the bases all unloaded. It was really interesting to watch a play that badly happen. And it's like, well, I mean, this is the Pirates now.
I mean, it was I've lived in the area since I was like 4 years old. So, I've lived here 20 years, right? We would only ever go to the Pirates games on like fireworks nights, or like they
Yeah.
would do like like some sort of like short concert after the uh after the games. I mean, we would go like 3 games a year. Just they were always awful. You could count on seeing like, you know, 2 out of the 3 would be losses, and probably statistically really bad ones.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you would just go for, something fun was happening that day. Or I mean, the one year the the company my dad worked for got like would rent like a box for a game, like one of the suites. And so you'd sit there and eat free food and watch shitty baseball and, you know, wish that the Pirates were good again. And then all of a sudden they were good and you couldn't get a fucking ticket.
Yeah, no. And that could be like so much incentive to make Pittsburgh teams good because but it takes talented players and like really good general managers and coaches. And that's one of the reasons why the Pirates are such a loyal franchise is because the owner doesn't want to put money into the team. And with the way that the Penguins are going, if they don't get their shit together, they're probably going to be looking down that road as well.
I Yeah, it's going to get bad here pretty soon for the Penguins. I mean, well, the thing with the Pirates, it's just like and it's one of the things that completely turns me off from baseball. The games aren't interesting enough for me to give a shit about a team outside of Pittsburgh because they it's not interesting. It's the game itself is not interesting enough for me to be a fan of the Indians. Or they're not the Indians anymore, but whatever team, pick a team outside of Pittsburgh. It's I'm not gonna stay up and watch a game on the West Coast or anything like that. I mean the I haven't watched a World Series ever because it's just like the games themselves aren't interesting enough for me to care, and because the Pirates are never in the playoffs,
You
almost
don't care.
almost ever have a winning record, and definitely aren't going to the World Series any fucking time soon. It's like I don't give a shit about baseball, you know. And I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be one thing if like the Pirates were trying to win. They're just not, and it's ridiculous. I mean, that's one of those things like that. The MLB needs to do something because it's
EM
always the same like six teams.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why is because there's no salary cap. And that makes teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, or the Red Sox constantly be competitive because, they're looking at like I think the Dodgers has like a like around like a $350 million cap, if not even more, to like the Pirates where they're at 90 million or something like that. It's really hard for small market teams to be competitive. It's not like, the NHL or team like I think the league that has the most parity is the NHL because there's smart market teams that are constantly in the playoffs. Like right now, like the Florida Panthers are leading the Discover Central. Do I think they're going to be leading for that long? No, but it's always nice and interesting to see, more parity in the league.
Absolutely, and I mean it's one of the reasons that the NHL, again, I will always watch the NHL playoffs because the games are just that damn exciting. The series are just that damn exciting.
So
I
I
mean,
guess I get
it's the Sabres haven't made the playoffs since like 2011. Um, I still watch almost every game I can during the playoffs just because anything can happen, and that's because it doesn't matter if there's a team is the 1 seed or the 8, they can win that game because of just how close each team is.
So I guess we're jumping into hockey. So hockey is my favorite sport, and we can talk about we could talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Montreal Canadiens last year in the play-in round, and oh boy was that interesting. So
Because it should have been the Sabres.
whatever.
No, it should have. Well, legitimately, it should have been. Like last year, the only reason the Canadians got in, the only reason the Canadians got into the playoffs is they had like one more point than the Sabres, but had played uh, two more games when the season ended, and so based solely on points, or maybe it was like win percentage or something. They made it into the playoffs instead of the Sabres. So it should have been the Sabres that kicked the shit out of the Penguins.
So, all right, okay. Since Brad's off his little rant now, I'm gonna lay out the scene. So you get the Penguins. The Penguins are the fifth seed in the East, right? They are one of the top dogs in the East. So but they didn't make it to the round robin with the Lightning, um, the Bruins, the Flyers, and I believe it was the Capitals, right? Those are the top four seeds. And those teams get to play a round robin. They already made the playoffs. They don't need to have a play-in round. But to get down from 12 teams to 8 teams for each conference, there was a play-in round. And the last team is the Canadians. The Canadians were not a good team last season, right? Carey Price was there, which is one of the highest paid goaltenders in the league, but I think that's now Bobrovsky, and Bobrovsky's might be living up to his potential now, but last season he wasn't. But Price, Carey Price was one of the best goaltenders in the league, and probably still is in certain situations. But just the roster of the Canadians shouldn't have been able to match up with the Penguins. But like with every Pittsburgh team, their ego got in the way. And what I mean by that is there's a certain thing that always happens with Pittsburgh teams, which is really weird, which is that they play down to their competition, except especially successful ones, and that's what the Penguins did. And they got outplayed, outskate by the Canadians, and it was great to see because now, their power play wasn't doing anything. Letang, which Pittsburgh radio constantly always says that Letang is one of the best defensemen in the league. I think he might be top 10. He's probably top 15, but he's not top 5. Letang has is gone. And then you have Crosby and Malkin. Now Malkin has his on and off days for some reason. Like he was looking dead throughout the play-in round, and Crosby was also missing. Gunsel was missing. It's just the Canadians pounced on a dead corpse because the Penguins were limping into the playoffs. They were really crappy. But like if this season kept on playing, they could have been down in the 8th seed of the playoffs, in even lower because they weren't playing good. And it was just so nice to see just how Pittsburgh they just blew up on the team after they lost to the fucking Canadians. It-
They were so bad. The Canadians were so bad. I
they
mean,
were so bad.
they had no business even being in the playoffs, in all honesty. And then, and I mean, everyone knew it. Everyone was picking the Penguins, and then the Penguins just shit the bed.
They won one game. I think it was like game 2. They won one game, so they didn't get swept. They won one, but it was just like for some reason Sullivan started Matt Murray instead of Tristan Jarry, who's the reason why they were somewhat competitive in the last stretch of games. And it was just great. It was nice. It was nice seeing the saltiness of the Yinzers tears after the Penguins lost.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's funny. We both live in Western PA, but neither of us are Penguins fans.
No.
No.
Um I am a fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning. That is the only Tampa Bay sports team that I am always going to be a fan of. And after the 2018 and 19 season, oh my god, I fucking hated the team. Hey, you know how we had the most historic regular season ever, and then get swept out of the playoffs by fucking Tortorella and the Columbus Blue Jackets.
That was that might have been my favorite hockey like memory of all time. And I hate to say it because I know you're such a big fan, but I was watching that and just God, I could not have been cheering for Columbus more.
Oh, I understand. Like, right. Like it was fucking hilarious because I'm getting clowned on at work because I'm an avid Lightning fan and I'm just getting fucking clowned on. Like I remember I bought like a Lightning face mask and I always got to say I got to be careful, this might be a choking hazard. But yeah, no, it was really it was really disheartening to see And for them to come back this season and play so much harder and play so much better, they didn't even have a series that went to 7 games. That's how dominant they were in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And it was so great to see because I remember like Panarin, like during the like handshake line against the Columbus Blue Jackets and Lightning. Panarin was so happy, but Kucherov was so fucking miserable because they're supposedly like good friends in real life, and like he goes to shake his hand, and Panarin is all fucking ecstatic and like fucking hugging him and like patting him on the back, and Kucherov just didn't want to be there.
Yeah. I mean, who can blame them? It was just one
Yeah.
of those things like after the Blue Jackets won the first, cuz normally like in a series like that, I wouldn't give a shit. Like whoever won, I don't care. But like after the Blue Jackets won like the first 2 games, I was like, "Come on, guys. Let's do this. Let's sweep those motherfuckers." And boy, did they.
Yeah, no, it was it was disheartening to see, but without that, I don't think the Lightning would have won the Stanley Cup this year or last year. Yeah, it technically is last year at this point because they needed that kick in the mouth to be like, okay, all right, the way that we were playing is not working. We have to change it up.
I think you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's they came back with a vengeance, man.
Oh yeah. Like during I remember the hockey guy on YouTube, he mentioned something about the Lightning during the NHL awards that season when they got swept, and Vasilevsky, like during all the Lightning jokes, didn't even crack a smile. Like he wanted to show out during these playoffs, and he played every single fucking minute of it.
Yeah.
Curtis McElhinney got the best seat in the house during the NHL playoffs. Like he didn't even have to play a single minute on the ice. Like and Vasilevsky, like Vasilevsky was the most dominant goaltender throughout the entire playoffs, but he was constantly being overshadowed because Korpisalo was actually doing really well, and then they went up against Yaroslav Halak, who had to fill in for Rask because Rask took a leave, and then Varlamov was doing really well, and then they had to go, and then Khudobin was basically a miracle story as well, even though he himself was putting up the best numbers, and just and then like the entire like award presentations and stuff after Lightning won, where basically Kucherov just seemed to be basically just going on a stupor for everything. Like legitimately, he just seemed drunk throughout the entire like parade and award show that they had in like Raymond James Stadium. Like he was just drunk constantly. It was great to see.
I can't wait. I can't wait until the Sabres are good again.
Yeah, I mean it should have been this season, but with the way that the divisions are right now, I don't think it's gonna happen.
They might sneak into the playoffs. They're not playing like horribly. They the record isn't showing it, but like the analytics say that they should have won at least 2 of the games they lost. I mean, it's just one of those things like bad luck this season, and hopefully
Yeah.
it turns around. But man, because well, the whole reason I'm a Sabres fan is I got family in Buffalo. Like most of my extended family is from Buffalo. And right around the time I was old enough to start giving a shit about like sports, the Sabres were one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah,
So like
like
the
back.
Bills I have no excuse cuz they've been shit my entire life until recently. They were just, they were just like the lovable losers that I, sort of fell in love with. And although in my defense, when I was old enough to start giving a shit about sports, the Steelers were shit too. So, but
Yeah,
like,
before the Ben era.
yeah, but the Sabres were one of the best teams in the league. And I just remember one of the reasons I'm a fan of them is like they went on their Stanley Cup run in like 2005, 2006, and then the next season, 06, 07.
Yeah.
And we would go up to Buffalo to visit my family like once every 2-3 weeks or something like that. We were up there during the year they won the President's Trophy.
Yeah, I
We
think
were
that was 06, 07.
It was 06, 07. We went up there. We were up there for like 2 weeks straight, and it was basically like the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, like the first round and the second round, and just how nuts everyone was going up there. We
Oh,
went
I
to
don't.
the game. I think it was game. I want to say it was game 6 of the Rangers. Uh, of the Rangers series, which was it was the last game before. I can't remember if it was game 5 or game 6. I want to say it was game 6. It was the game that would send us to the Eastern Conference Championship. We were outside, me and my dad, outside HSBC Arena at the time. Now it's KeyBank Center, but HSBC Arena, watching the game. You know, they had it on the big screen, and it was nuts. There had to have been at least 15,000 people packed outside, and then they score with like 6 seconds left in the game, tie it up to go to overtime, and then my favorite player of all time, Maxim Afinogenov, scored in overtime to win the game, and both times. I'll send you the video on after this, but like just watch how nuts the place goes
Oh, I don't doubt it.
when that happens. And then
Uh,
the next season it all fell apart because
uh,
they were like, who should we bet on? Because I mean, like the Sabres' best 3 players at the time were Danny Briere, right, Chris
yeah.
Drury, and Thomas Vanek, right.
Mhm.
And so the Sabres are deciding who to give money to the next season, because I mean all 3 played like completely out of their minds. I mean, Drury, that was like basically his last good year.
Yeah,
Briere went
it's
on to be like a
a
key
Philly
contributor
legend.
to the Flyers, and then you've got Thomas Vanek, who is sort of a all right player throughout the rest of his career, but nothing to write home about. So the Sabres are deciding who should we pay, and they decide Thomas Vanek is the guy who might have been the worst out of those 3. They were like, all right, we're going to give him like a 10-year 10 or we're going to give him like I think it was like a 6-year $6 million or $60 million contract, and it's like, god damn it.
Yeah, no, Danny Briere would have been the one to bet money on.
Absolutely. I mean, he was pretty much the only choice. Like hindsight being 2020, you know.
I I'm gonna be honest with you. I know about Thomas Vanek because he's a Sabres legend. I know about Danny Briere because he was just a good player. I have no idea who the fuck Chris Drury is.
So Chris Drury was the I think he was he was either the captain or the assistant captain, had been for like a couple years, right? He was like a consistent 30 goal scorer. He was good for like 30 goals, 40 assists every year.
Okay.
He was the center of their top line.
Okay.
So it was like I think the top line was Vanek, Drury, and Briere.
Mhm. Probably was.
So Drury was like 30-ish years old at the
Mhm.
time, and had always been one of the Sabres' better players. Not like, he was never he was never going to be in the conversation for like the Hart Trophy or anything like that. But I mean, you could tell like, okay, he was the glue that was holding some pieces together. And I mean,
Yeah.
after he left, they missed the playoffs the next season
Yeah.
because they just couldn't replace his production. So
Mhm.
he went to the Rangers after that and was like never the same again, you know. So I mean, I can understand letting him walk, but they never found anyone to replace him.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with most teams when they go through free agency is like most sports teams overall is when they lose their best player and they don't even make an attempt to get somebody to replace his productivity. If not like you're not gonna find the person to replace all of it, but you have to find a person to at least replace some of it.
Well, I mean, it was just like they were. I mean, they were the President's Trophy winners. You know,
Yeah.
they have no excuse to miss the playoffs the very next season. You
Yeah,
know,
plus with Ryan Miller in the back of the net, I think you guys still had Earnhoff at the time, who was one of the best defensemen in the league as well. Christian Earnhoff, I believe his name is.
yes. Ehrhoff, Jochen Hecht. Of course, now that we're recording, I'm drawing a blank. Um, who else did we have? We had
So you want me to name the entire Lightning roster, or to the best of my abilities when they won the cup in '04?
do it.
Okay, all right. Fedotenko, LeCavier, my favorite player, St. Louis, Brad Richards, Corey Stillman. Then you have Andrew Chuck, Tim Taylor, Ben Clymer, Andre Waugh, Chris Dingman, and then you had Brad Lukowicz, Corey Sarich, Pablo Cabina, Dan Boyle, Nolan Pratt, Eric Perrin, uh, Nikolai Javibulin, John Graham, Daryl Sador. Uh, mm, that's like 14 players.
Okay,
uh,
I'm remembering names, and I've also got the roster pulled up. So,
yeah, I heard those keys clicking.
but I mean, just like listen to this roster, okay? And it's just it's
Man,
mwah,
really out
it was
here,
perfect.
man, really out here gonna test my hockey knowledge of or of late 2000s hockey when I started to get freakishly into hockey in the 2010s. Okay.
Okay, so this is the roster, right? Maxim Afinoganov, okay, my favorite player that season, 61 points, 23 goals, 61 points. Okay, I think he was like their third line right winger.
Mhm.
Put up
Yeah.
61 points. All right.
If he put up 61, he would have been on the second.
He might have been. I can't remember at this point. I mean, we're talking 13 years ago now. I was 9.
Yeah.
So anyway, Marty Baron, backup goalie.
Mhm.
Okay, Danny Briere, 32 goals, 63 assists as their top line center.
Ooh. Damn.
Spicy, right?
Yep. Mhm.
All right. Brian Campbell on defense.
Ah, really good offensive defenseman.
He was. I mean, he left 2 years or 3 years after this and was a consistent All Star. Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Tim Connolly.
Uh, good production at the time.
Not at the time. That season, 1 goal.
Damn.
1 goal, 1 point. He didn't play. Like that's how stacked this team was. Like he didn't even he was literally he spent the entire year in Rochester. Okay? Chris Drury, 37 goals, 32 assists. All right?
Man knew how to score some goals, but didn't really know how to pass the puck.
Well, he had Briere passing him the puck.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh
guess.
Paul Gostad, third line center. Okay. Jochen Hecht, or sorry, Paul Gostad was your fourth line center. Jochen Hecht, third line center, 19 goals, 37 assists. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alish Kodalik, Tony Lidman, Clark MacArthur, Adam Mayer, Mark
Clark
Mancari,
MacArthur.
Ryan Miller in goal.
Right. Yeah. Ryan Miller, one of the most consistent goaltenders of that era.
40 wins that season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teppo Numanen, Nathan Page, Daniel Paye, Andrew Peters, Jason Pominville,
Palm and P. Palm and P.
34 and 34 for 68 points that year.
He was definitely their second line center.
Second line right winger, Derek
Okay.
Roy was their
Oh
second line.
yeah,
21
Derek
goals,
Roy.
42 assists.
I remember he popped off for one season. He like had like 92 points or something crazy, and then immediately fell fucking down to earth the next.
Yeah, that was in he was one of my favorite players, but like just could for whatever reason just couldn't get anything going.
Couldn't stay
Andre
consistent.
Andre Sakara, Yaroslav Spacek, Drew Stafford was a rookie this season.
Man collapsed on a bench.
Yeah. Henrik Tallinder, Danis Zubris, and of course Thomas Vanek. 43 goals, 41 assists. And then promptly never hit 80 points again after this season because he just didn't have the help.
Yeah.
He just straight up didn't have the help.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just it was one of those things like I was convinced, and they were also they were the best offensive team that year.
Oh well, yeah, no, probably no doubt. Like you have Danny Briere scoring 90 points in a season when it was basically the dead puck era still going on at that point.
I mean, this is the middle of the trap.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, those are amazing numbers for the time.
And I mean, it was just like the season sort of came out of nowhere. Like I don't think anyone really expected them to make the Stanley Cup, but it was and then they go and unfortunately run into like the team of destiny in the Senators in the conference finals.
Yeah.
And it's just like I remember like game 5 of the conference final, sitting on my aunt's floor and crying because Alfredson scored the breakaway
OT.
in overtime.
Yeah. Who was their goalie? Who was Ottawa's goalie that season? Wasn't it Ray Emery?
It was.
Oh. But yeah, no. It was that. So, since you're a major Sabres fan,
Yes.
do you think that the call should have been overturned in the '01 or the 2000 or the '01 finals? I can't remember which one, where Brett Hall had a foot in a crease.
It was 99. It was 1999. And the reason I know that is because I have a 1999 Eastern Conference Champions shirt. It's got the Smoke and Goat logo,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes me sad every time I think about it. I was 2 years old, but it doesn't matter. Like, that was our year. And then to get absolutely fucked on one of the worst rules in all of sports. And then just to, like, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The rule shouldn't have fucking existed in the first place, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't have. It was the dumbest rule of all time, right?
Right?
However, it was still the fucking rule. You don't just stop. You don't just stop enforcing rules in the like. Okay, so like there. I watched like a fucking documentary about it, right? Because I
Yeah,
mean, it is possibly one of the most controversial calls of all time.
it is. It is right up there with the no goal against the Flames and Lightning in '04.
Absolutely. It's one of the most controversial calls of all time. Okay? And so I'm watching like a documentary about it, or about like the most controversial calls, whatever. And like one of the officials goes like, oh, well, a memo was sent out, halfway through the season, saying like, oh, we're going to be a lot looser with this rule and stuff like that. It's like, I've done research. I can find no fucking evidence that that was ever a thing. I think it was legitimately just, okay, the Sabres, it went into like 4 or 5 overtimes. It was like 2 in the morning. I
Yeah.
just think the refs didn't want to fucking be there.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
they immediately call goal. They don't even review the fucking thing, and then immediately leave the ice. I mean,
Yeah. No.
literally every Sabres player is fucking screaming at them like, review the damn thing,
Yeah.
and they
There.
just they just dip.
I think there was a saying where they weren't like it was 4 overtimes deep if I'm not mistaken, and they weren't going to overturn that goal because there was a foot in the crease.
No, they weren't.
And
They just
I
wanted to go home, and
yeah
they
I
fucked the Sabres.
yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
And it's just like, God damn it. Like, I don't like it would have at least been cool. Like, because here's the thing, right? You know, I cannot bring myself to cheer for Pittsburgh sports teams, right? I'm stuck. It'd be one thing if I was like born in Buffalo or whatever. No, I fucking chose to be a Bills and a Sabres fan, and it just gets rubbed in my fucking face every year. Oh, the Sabres are in the middle of the longest drought in the NHL right now. Well, the Bills just came off the longest drought in NFL. I don't know if it's NFL history, but a 20 or not 20, 17 fucking year playoff drought, right? Meanwhile, while both teams are in the midst of the drought, the Steelers rattle off fucking 2 Super Bowl wins, and the Penguins rattle off 3 Stanley Cup wins. And I'm sitting over here like, oh, the Sabres weren't the worst team in the league this year. Ooh, the Bills won 7 games. It's like, God damn it. Let me just have one. I was 2 years old, but god damn it, does that foot in the crease call still fucking twist my nuts?
This man asking, please let me have one, and I'm over here sitting with two.
Let me have one. Just let me have one. I'll die happy.
Oh, I really loved adding gas to that fire right there. Oh, that was great. That was fucking great.
Because, I mean, I mean, the Sabres, it was bad luck. Like, they had, they're, I don't think anyone could have predicted, like, how bad the fall off would be.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, the Sabres, made it to the Eastern Conference Championship 2 years in a row. They just needed that slight push over the edge, but just didn't quite have the cap space to put together a roster that good again. So they bet on one of their players. They bet on Thomas Vanek, who was a 90-point scorer the year before. Okay? If Thomas Vanek played with that form this year, he would probably be like a 115-point scorer just because of how open the game has become.
Yeah.
Okay?
That
So they're
that
like, he's one of the better players, and he was young too. I think he was like 24, 25 that year.
Mhm.
Let me look it up. Blah 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 blah. He was 23 that year. He's as old as I am now. So they're like, "Oh, he's a 90-point scorer at 23. Let's pay the man." And it just didn't go well. And I mean, hindsight being 2020, it's like, god damn it, like, just our luck. But it's just, yeah. And then they immediately didn't make the playoffs until 2011. They had like a 4-year playoff drought because they just, Thomas Vanek was not producing what $10 million a year should have produced. I think they got rid of him like 2 years too late. And then they made the playoffs. They made the playoffs in 2011, but they made it as the I want to say it was like the 7 seed or something like that, but they weren't going that far.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it,
Yeah.
it's like it was just bad luck.
You weren't blessed with the presence of Stevie Y and how to make a roster good again.
No, no, I wasn't. And
Yeah.
it took it took fucking McBean and with the Bills to finally put together a good roster. It only took them like 20 fucking years. You know.
At least the Bills are good. The Sabres are even though they got the biggest free agent of this free agency last year. Well, only for 1 year, but you know,
Well, 1 year for now.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. This year is like the first year that I'm like, I'm allowing myself to get my hopes up. I mean, they're my team. I'm a ride or die motherfucker, but like, this is the first time I'm like, they might make the playoffs, maybe.
Uh, if they had a better goaltender, yeah, I would probably put them as a lock. But they have Carter Hutton as their starting goaltender,
Yeah, sharing time with Linus Olmark, who's
who's also
all right. Yeah, they're a goaltender away, I think, from being a playoff team. But
Yeah, yeah, they're a goaltender away. If Rasmus Dahlin progresses a bit more, if Ristolainen just stops being a fucking idiot,
if Ristolainen stops being a Sabre, they'll be all right.
yeah.
If Oposo retires tomorrow, they'll be all right.
Oh yeah, if Oposo just retires, that frees up $6 million in cap right there.
Yeah,
It's just like, ah.
and I mean, it's he's a fourth liner making $6 million. Like, here's the thing, Oposo. Like, I have nothing bad to say about the guy, except that he's overpaid.
Oh, he's way overpaid. His best. See. The thing is, he was playing with Tavares when he had his best season, and his best season was also a contract year. And the Sabres were betting on him that he can continue that production, and then he just shot the bed.
Well, they like signed him, and then like 10 games later, he was down for like a year and a half because he had like some weird brain injury issue. I can't remember what it was, but like he like legitimately almost died, and then like I think it was like a concussion, and then he like re-injured his head or something like that, like off the ice, and then
I have no idea. I can't back you up on that.
I remember seeing like an article about it, something like it was something weird, like something happened, he like wasn't playing hockey for like a year and a half.
I think what it was, a six year, $36 million contract, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
and I think what he has 2 more seasons left, or one
uh
more.
one more maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of those things, like, okay, it's just betting on the wrong horse. They just can't get lucky.
Mhm.
They got Taylor Hall, which is fantastic. He's been doing all right. They got Eichel, you know,
If Jeff
who's
Skinner can go back into to that 40 goal pace again, that'd be great.
yeah, that was another thing. It was like it was Vanek all over again. They get Skinner for a year. He puts up 40 goals. They pay him $10 million. It's like, where have I seen this before? And then he
Yeah.
immediately regresses. Now, granted, last year they absolutely had him playing on the wrong line.
Yeah, he was on the second line, right?
Yeah,
Second or third
you put
line.
him on the line. You put him on a line with Eichel. Eichel's one of
Yeah.
the best, like setup guys in the
Playmakers.
fucking NHL. And then
Mhm.
the guy that you're paying $10 million, you don't put him on that line. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I found that interesting. I'm just like, why isn't Skinner playing with Eichel?
But Dylan Cousins has been showing some promise this year. He's the guy they drafted ninth overall, eighth overall.
I want to know what the stats are for the Sabers. I want to know what the stats are for this season. So Jack Eichel has 11 points in 10 games.
Yep.
Olafson has 10 points in 10
Talk
games.
about a promising youngster.
Yeah. Uh, Taylor Hall has 9 points in 10 games, and where is Jeff Skinner has 1 assist in 10 games.
Yep. Like, it's just sad. I mean, the Sabres are like they just can't get anything right. Like this year, they might be a playoff team, but they're very far from the Stanley Cup. You know,
uh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the playoffs happen; anything can happen. But I'm not holding my breath.
You know, you know what kind of remember when we were like 12 or 13 and you looked up the players and like, yeah, I could be that. And now you're looking at like players like Anthony Sorelli, who's like basically a month older than me, fucking playing out of his mind in the NHL. It's just like,
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like you grow up, it is weird because we're like at that age where it's
yeah.
like you grow up and you're like, okay, wow, this guy's 19. Like you know I'm 12. Like 19. That seems like, oh, that's an adult. You
Mhm.
know. And like, oh man, he's so much older than me, and it's man, it's so cool he's playing in the NHL. That'd be dope if I could do that one day. And then like, you know, I, you know, I'm cheering for the Bills, going like, man, these guys are old. And then it's like Josh Allen's like 4 months older than me. And this is his third year in the NFL. It's like,
Oh,
it's like, oh man, like, yeah, it's just wild. Yeah,
yeah.
oh, the 19-year-old is tearing it up in the NHL. It's like, I'm 23. I hurt my back shoveling last week.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it be though.
Yeah,
That's really how it be.
yeah, uh,
Yeah, no, it's crazy to think about it. Like you're just like, why? Like, cause me and my friends were talking about it, and it's just like, man, this dude. Cause I looked at Rasmus Dahlin, and Dahlin was born in 2000. And it's just like, he really just a franchise defenseman, and he's 3 years younger than me.
yeah. That's the thing. He's uh 6 months. I think he's 6 months older than my baby sister. The sister I look at as like constant. 4 years younger than me, constantly like oh, that's my baby sister, that's my baby sister. Granted, she's a sophomore in college now, but like that's my baby sister. And then you realize, oh, she's not that young. Like there's a there's a guy tearing it up in the NHL who's slightly older than her, and it's like, damn, did I miss the boat? Like,
Yeah, I
fuck, man,
know.
it's wild.
Yeah, I it's just really crazy to think about that. Like these like these people in your age group are just out here just fucking tearing it up in sports that you wish you could play, and you're just like, man, why didn't I win the genetic lottery?
Well, it's not even the genetic lottery. It's like I was like, okay, so I used to play hockey. I played hockey for like 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was halfway decent. Like I was I was not eighth, ninth grade. No, I would have been seventh grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had been begging my parents. begging my parents since I was like in first grade to let me play hockey, right? Please, like, this is what I want, like, most in the world, like, whatever, right? I was a good skater, I had been playing God knows how much, God knows how much like driveway hockey. I was a decent player. And then finally in 7th grade, my parents are like, "Okay." They go out, buy me all the equipment, all that fun stuff. I already had a pair of skates, but I, can't afford a composite stick, right? So I'm showing up to ice hockey with a wooden stick, the same wooden
Mhm.
stick that I used in the driveway. So it had like no blade anymore. Like
Yeah.
the blade was like, the blade was about as wide as like 3 of my fingers now, you know, like it's just, so I go out, right? I'm trying out for the high school hockey team.
Mhm.
Okay. And I make the fucking team. Most of these kids had been playing since they were like 4 or 5, right? I make the team. And then my parents take one look at how expensive it's going to be and they're like, "No, sorry, you can't play." So I'm like, "Damn it." Next
Yeah.
year, I go out and I make the team again. Parents go, "Ah, sorry, you can't play." So they end up sticking me in like a rec league and I'm again like very, very, very good. So I try out for the travel team, like the local travel team, right?
Mhm.
It's like a club team. It's, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like spring hockey as opposed to, like the school or whatever. And again, I make the team. My parents can't pay it. So it's like, like I had my shot. Like I was good enough to make a very good travel team having basically like next to no honest to god ice hockey experience
Yeah.
and just like, man,
So,
what
did
could
I
have
ever
been.
yeah, did I ever tell you the story of like why I never got into little league or like sports like that?
Why is that?
So, I have an older brother, right? Me and my brother are very, very different, right? Like I've told you stories about my brother, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. So, my dad had such a terrible time with my brother that he didn't even try me out for like little league baseball and stuff like that. And so I never even had the chance to excel at a sport because my dad was like, "Yeah, I had such a terrible time with your brother that I just didn't even want to try it again." It's like growing up, like me and my brother were completely different, right? I didn't have very much anger issues. It was just like, damn, I'm really out here, y- you know, just I could have been out there playing like baseball or something or playing football, but no, I'm out here playing virtual sports on a PlayStation 4 instead of out there playing actual games. Like I wanted to go like I knew the reason why I never played hockey when I was younger was because I was living in Florida and B my family was basically hovering around the poverty line for most of my life. But yeah, no, I wish I could have been able to play some sports
Well,
in my younger years.
the other sport that I was pretty good at was baseball. I wasn't that great a hitter, but like uh like throughout like middle school and stuff like that, I was on like what do you uh like fall ball, you know what I mean? Like baseball team,
Yeah.
like a whatever local baseball league, right? Like I guess you
Mhm.
could call it like a rec league, but like I was like the only kid who could actually catch, like play catcher. Like
Oh,
it was
okay.
one of those it's one of those leagues where you're supposed to play like 3 different positions every game.
Mhm.
Like you're not really supposed to have one kid do one thing. but I was like all time catcher. Like the games are 7 innings. I'm playing 6.5 at catcher. Because like I was legitimately like the only kid on our team who could like throw someone out at second base or like catch block a passed ball.
Yeah.
You know, like I was a very 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 good catcher. I was like even at in like fifth grade, I was like a
That
middling
that
hitter.
that makes sense that you weren't good at hitting, but you were a good catcher.
Yeah.
You weren't like Gary Sanchez at the bat, but you could definitely be a Molina at the base.
Well, I mean that's the thing. Well, not I wouldn't even compare myself to like Molina, uh,
Mol-
but like
yeah.
I was a to draw like a Pirates comparison. I was like a what's his name? Like a Francisco Cervelli, like a very
Hmm.
very very good defensive catcher, or even better, a Cole McHenry. Like I was a very 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 good defensive catcher, but I was good for probably like a walk and a single and, two strikeouts at the plate.
Hmm.
Like I was not, I was probably a career like 220 hitter. but I but I was the only one who could like, you know, throw someone out. So, but yeah, anyway. Well,
Yeah. We both enjoy our
we
sports.
do. We're the only two. We're the only
We
two.
are, yeah, we are the only two, which kind of sucks to see, cause like there was only one person that I could really talk about sports with at work, and now he's left, so I really have nobody else to talk to sports about. Like besides some people in my group chat, but we're never really talking about sports in that matter. But
Well, that's the
it
thing. Like even the two of us, we rarely talk sports, but that's only because we're always like surrounded by people who just don't give a shit.
yeah, no, during D&D games we're usually talking about stuff that like all the group is interested in. Like we're
Yeah.
never so we never have like these one-on-one talks that just about like our favorite sports memories or anything like that. Because we can get started about talking and then Jay would just intervene like who cares or anything like that. It's like I mean I do.
Or the subject would get like changed or something like that. Which it is what it is. But yeah, it's very cathartic just to talk about sports for a
Mhm.
while.
Yeah, no. Sport sports is good. Sports is interesting. Kind of, favorite memory about 2020 is the Lightning winning the Stanley Cup. That was, I was actually happy for like a good like week after that. Bought myself a Kucherov jersey that has the 2020 championship patch on it as well.
I
Really
owe
love it.
you a shirt still.
Yeah, when the fuck are you gonna get it?
I'll buy it right after this.
Okay.
But no, the my favorite 2020 sports moment beyond the Bills' absolute fantastic season was I discovered my all-time favorite Twitter account. Also happens to be a Bills fan, and I found out about this account because she tagged the official Bills Twitter. However, I'm saving that for my solo cast, so look forward to that. As I'll be doing a deep dive on Twitter, but also on this account.
So one of the things that I want to kind of end off with is basically kind of my place in this group between you two, between you and Jay, which is I'm literally like what between us, I'm literally the jack of all trades. Like I can talk to you about stuff that you're interested in and that Jay doesn't care about, and then I could talk about stuff that Jay's interested in, but you don't care about.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So like I'm always kind of the foil between all of us.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely a fair statement. I am I am I am the opinionated one. So I can rant and rave about something I don't give a shit about or something I care about, and, you know. But, if it's something that like just I know nothing about, I shut up. But
No,
you can talk to both of us about pretty much anything.
yeah, it's really interesting about it too because like looking back on high school especially, right? I could have hanged out with anybody because I knew basically, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. I could literally hang out with it like legitimately. I'm still friends with people that were, you know, in that were on the football team and joined the military. And then I also was friends with a beat producer back in high school. And then I was also friends with a guy that got arrested because he had a USB drive that had bombs on it, that had like bomb making procedures on it. And I
Where can I
was
find this USB? Do you still have it?
uh I don't know. I haven't talked to that dude after he got
I'll
arrested.
make my own flash drive.
but
Fun.
yeah, but yeah, no, like legitimately, I was very much a loner though. But but like I knew a lot about everything throughout my tenure in high school, which is very interesting to look back upon.
Yeah,
Which is like, yeah, I'm I know how to talk to people about certain subjects, but because I know a lot about everything, but I know when to tone it down a bit, I guess.
that's fair. I'm a very I run hot and cold with people. I can tell because I am a very uh, uh, opinionated person.
Hmm.
So I mean, people love me or hate me. Is what it is. That's what happens when you're a shit post, a walking shit post.
The walking shit post. So yeah, it also is really funny that I am the circle of this bard circle jerk.
Yeah, I'm the bard.
Yeah.
Jay's the jerk,
Jay is the jerk.
and
He'll even say
Corey's
that.
Corey's the one who keeps it all together. He's the circle.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps it up, don't you think?
Yeah, I think, talked about sports, had a little bit of self-reflection at the end. I think that's the end. So I entered us in. You want to call us out?
Yes. Thank you for listening to the BCJ cast. Thank you for listening to this mini cast, and keep your eyes open for our solo cast in the future.
All right. Peace out, everybody.